DDP by falling piano, DDP by falling anvil, DDP by Kamaru Usman slipping on a comically large banana, and then Dricus taking his back and submitting him. DDP by whacking Kamaru Usman over the head with a comically large hammer. DDP by something. There is no doubt in my mind that Dricus Du Plessis will break down Kamaru Usman over the course of 5 rounds and most likely get a 3rd or 4th round TKO. I struggle to see really why people are picking Kamaru Usman. Now, I get that you can't really shake from your memory Dricus's terrible performance against Khamzat Chimaev, but Kamaru Usman's not Khamzat Chimaev. He's not in his prime. He's old as shit. I know you're gonna be like, the knees thing's playing out. Is it really, though? Because he does look significantly slower at his older age. He's not the same guy he used to be. And Kamaru Usman, face it, he's not the level of a grappler that a Khamzat Chimaev is, who arguably has better ground and pound and actually has submission ability. Like, Dricus Du Plessis could give up his back in this fight. Kamaru Usman's not locking in shit. Usman has decent top control and pressure, and we saw that really a lot in his last fight against Joaquin Buckley. Now, that Joaquin Buckley fight is aged like shit, because Buckley put on one of the worst performances you will ever see against a Sean Brady. And Joaquin Buckley might be one of the worst defensive grapplers in the entirety of the UFC. I mean, the guy has no clue how to stuff a takedown, how to force a scramble, how to do much of anything. And also, outside of that, for anybody who's saying, oh, Kamaru's going to take down DDP and then smudge him for pretty much the whole fight, which they'll be around where that probably happens, I'm not going to lie. Outside of that Buckley fight, Usman has never been this insane guy who's smudging you on the mat other than like the RDA fight. He's mostly a dude who will kind of beat you up along the fence and hold you there. Did to Masvidal. I think did it to Leon in the first fight. That's just kind of his game. On the feet, I mean, Kamaru Usman has fallen off massively. Defensively, it's never like he's been insane, but he kind of freezes when you punch him now. His jab work used to kind of be his bread and butter. We worked that jab to the 1-2. Feel like his jab has just gotten worse as the years have gone on. And when he wasn't getting those takedowns against Joaquin Buckley in that 5th round, Buckley was giving him problems, man. He was stinging him up, and Joaquin Buckley's striking is, you know, casuals will say it's very good. It's explosives, but I wouldn't say it's very technical. I see DDP as a guy who's on 2 wrestling camps right now back-to-back. Will have to deal with a guy in Kamaru Usman who might be a better wrestler than Khamzat Chimaev, might have better cardio, but is still a worse overall grappler. I think DDP in this fight will be able to defend enough takedowns in this one and just break down Kamaru Usman. Also, DDP, if he wants to, can mix in those fallen takedowns where he's just blitzing in and trips you up and chase submissions. If he wants to. I don't think he's going to do that because on the feet, it's just such a massive gap. Usman also, I'll say this, sucks against kicks. You could kick this guy to shit, and DDP has a great like lead head kick game, can throw the body kick in there. It's not like Kamaru Usman's ever really been a guy to punish you for throwing body kicks at you, and I think, again, will overwhelm Kamaru Usman with his pressure, with his volume and power. I mean, DDP is a legitimate middleweight who's massive for the division, has a massive size and frame advantage in this one, is a much bigger and kind of just thicker middleweight than a Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's just going to piece up and school Usman on the feet. I know Usman has never really been schooled in his career, got fluked by Leon in the second fight, close 3rd one, and then lost an even closer one to Khamzat Chimaev. But I think you look at a DDP and, people can call this guy's striking as goofy as you want to, but it is fucking elite. He has beat so many elite strikers throughout his career, whether it's a Robert Whittaker, an Izzy, kicked Izzy's ass, beat Sean Strickland twice. Dricus Du Plessis is that guy in the feet. Now, obviously, is there a bit part of me that does worry that if, DDP gets taken down and is really struggling to scramble up, doing that dumb thing where he's fucking trying for guillotines and shit and then gets smudged to a 49-46. Like, could that happen? Yes. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Usman, if anything, his best work is going to be smudging you against the fence, not necessarily on the ground where he will hold you. This is a dude in Kamaru Usman also, who even in his prime was going to wars with fucking Colby Covington, getting dropped by Gilbert Burns. I had a close fight with Jorge Masvidal. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on Kamaru Usman. Now he's old as shit, 39 years old, and looks like he's stuck in mud sometimes when he's moving. DDP needs to actually use his takedown defense ability here and not fucking try for guillotines. That Chimaev fight was so frustrating. As long as DDP is scrambling effectively, it's not like he's got to worry about putting himself in a bad position for Kamaru Usman to actually submit him. I, again, think DDP is going to break this guy down on the feet over the course of 5 rounds. I'm going DDP round 4 TKO. If I don't get this, I will be heartbroken. And you know that if DDP wins this, they're giving him the next title shot against Sean Strickland. They want that trilogy. Nobody gives a fuck about Nasty Nurmagomedov. Buddy, get ready to learn Joe Pyfer in Paris, kid. Nobody wants you getting a title shot. But let's keep moving on. Let's talk about Jared Cannonier and CLD, because this is a really fun one for me. I've always liked Jared Cannonier, a guy who, you know, he just got a nice build. You look at this guy, like, this dude's fucking, his muscles have muscles, man. He's just a beast. But I think this is it for Jared Cannonier. You know, he's 100 years old. He's been fighting since the days of Rich Franklin, it feels like. I think CLD gets this one done either by like 30-27 decision, or no, 29-28 decision, or maybe he gets a late finish. Now, Jared Cannonier is fairly durable, but lately, you know, has slipped a little bit. He is old, got wild, you know, dropped by MVP, and then MVP danced around like he always does, like a fucking idiot, and then doesn't get a finish because that's the average MVP fight. Cannonier does still have the nice calf kicks, has power, can mix in the wrestling a little bit. I mean, people forget, man, he did take that third round off of MVP and won it. CLD, listen, we all know his game. He's going to try all this spinning, dumb bullshit, spinning back fist, spinning kicks, spinning elbows, you name it. He's going to hunt for highlights. Weird with his movement, though, which can make him, you know, he will be, like, susceptible to being hit, but also hard to hit if you're not really that great of a striker. And his last fight was discouraging, though, because if you were pushing all this Christian Leroy Duncan propaganda, you weren't exactly pleased by his last win against Roman Dolidze, where it was just kind of a stinker, and it was like weird grappling, and it just really didn't make any sense. But I think he'll win this one just because he's younger and he's more powerful than a 1,000-year-old Jared Cannonier. His length and movement will give Jared Cannonier issues. And even if Jared lands takedowns, like Des does, he have nasty ground and pound ability, but he doesn't have like nasty submission ability to take out CLD on the ground. And I think at some point in this fight, CLD will find a big right hand down the middle, which has always given Jared Cannonier problems, and just sit him down. Or Jared Cannonier gets countered when he throws like a big calf kick with some spinning shit and he just dies. And it's like, oh my God, that's the end of Jared Cannonier. One of those guys who, you know, we'll always remember him, a dude who's really just fought nothing but killers his entire career. I think if he loses this, he'll be like 11-10, but we will never forget Jared Cannonier. We'll never forget that stinker against Izzy. Moving on to Chase Hooper versus Mitch Ramirez. Chase Hooper, though, I'll say this about him. He's really committing to that Oliveira arc. Missed weight by 2.5 pounds for this fight. So maybe Chase Hooper is actually going to go on the Charles Oliveira run. I don't think so. And I think it also is crazy we're getting a Chase Hooper feature fight in 2026. A Chase Hooper fight in any year would be terrible, but based on how he's performing lately, this is ridiculous. I wouldn't even want this on the Apex card. Either way, I think this fight goes either Chase Hooper gets round 1 submission or he gets brutally KO'd. Now, he can throw decent calf kicks or just decent kicks in general on the feet. Isn't really great with his wrestling. Like, I think he kind of can get body lock takedowns on you, but just has nasty, like, flowing BJJ. It really is beautiful stuff. But his distance management's terrible, and if you touch him on the chin, usually he dies. Now, Mitch Ramirez, this is a problem with this. If Mitch Ramirez was a little bit better, I'd feel very confident in picking him. But, you know, he isn't super dangerous, mostly a boxer, has lost to some names like Prates on the Contender Series, Thiago Moises, Mike Davis. He doesn't quit. I'll say that about Mitch Ramirez. He really has a heart and wants to be in there. And he is pretty quick. He'll try to pressure you, not super defensively sound anywhere. It's not like you have to worry about Chase Hooper chinning you, but Mitch Ramirez doesn't really have a lot of takedown defense. Now, here's where I stand on this fight. Chase Hooper, his last 2 losses are to guys like Alexander Hernandez and Lance Gibson. And both those guys have fight finishing power. When you watch the Lance Gibson against Bobby Green on short notice in the Apex in his debut, like, Lance Gibson did have a couple moments, even though he was getting emoted on Bobby for pretty much the whole fight. He didn't get finished by him, which at this point is an accomplishment when you face 2026 Bobby Green, or 2025, 2026 Bobby Green. And Alexander Hernandez has been around for a while and, like, legitimately can finish you and shut your lights out. So I don't, like, they're not terrible losses for Chase Hooper. And I don't know if Mitch Ramirez actually has the power to finish that fight, but part of me is just like, Chase Hooper, this just screams of him getting cut. He misses weight. Ever since he started talking about gooning, his career's just falling apart. I just think as long as Mitch Ramirez lands clean on this guy one time and Chase Hooper, it connects on Chase Hooper's face, it's pretty much over. He's chinless. He'll die. He's made no improvements in his stand-up whatsoever, just wants to do BJJ. How about just go to UFC BJJ and make some money over there? Go fight in PFL. Like, again, I'll just go Mitch Ramirez round 2 TKO. I'm not really confident either way in this, but Chase Hooper, just how bad he has looked recently, and if you just put one clean punch on this guy's chin, it's over. I just gotta go with Mitch Ramirez. I know Mitch Ramirez is tough. He's gonna fight. You know, he survived a lot of bad positions or submissions, I believe, against Mike Davis in his last one. So I know he's not gonna quit. But I wouldn't shock me if Chase Hooper just locked in a submission and finished this one click. Let's move on to Tabatha Ricci versus Fatima Kline. Anybody who knows me knows I'm part of the Fatima Kline army. There's not even that much to say about this fight because I know Fatima Kline's going to murder Tabatha Ricci. Fatima's a future champ. Tabatha Ricci fucking blows. Fatima's going to run through with the striking. She's so good with the boxing, the pressure, power, is a big lady for the division, has a nice head kick and grapple well. Fatima Kline, you know, she fucking beat crafty Auntie Angela Hill, who was bad in her last fight. So I'm going Fatima Kline by round 3 TKO. I don't really even need to spend that much time on this fight because I know Tabatha Ricci's not good. And I know Fatima Kline's going to be the champ one day. So that's my piece on Fatima Kline. I'll glaze her more when she knocks out Tabatha Ricci. It'll be absolutely beautiful. Now let's move on to, I would argue this is the most hyped up fight of the card. Like I see more discourse about this than Usman versus DDP, legitimately. And I've had a tough one reading this one because when it was first announced, I was all over Alberto Montes. I've never been a Tommy Guns guy. This guy's saying he's an American gangster. He's from Montana. There's no gangsters from Montana. There's about 10 people there. There's nobody to even commit those kind of crimes against because nobody exists. Maybe you're doing like, mafia level crimes on cows. I have really no clue how they move in Montana, but I can guarantee there's no gangsters up there. Either way, I think I'm going to go with Tommy McMillen here. You know, again, I was on Montes early. You know, his nasty anaconda, those nasty front chokes, can mix up his shots really well. But Tommy McMillen, and he's also Irish too, McMillen, shout out. He's got good takedown defense. He has good power. He's got really good pressure. I know he's got a good chin. He's been on a lot of wars, mostly with shit people, and has a massive size and reach advantage in this fight. He can also wrestle. Now, we haven't really seen him wrestle in the UFC, but I know he can do it and has submission game. Will chase submissions over position when he does get you down. Now, he is very wild, and Montes is a lot more technical, has nice counters, is more measured. Like, could he wobble McMillen and McMillen shoots in on a shot and Montes locks in some kind of front choke? That wouldn't shock me. But Tommy McMillen, again, has that crazy chin. We've seen him in wars with dudes who suck. And it's not like Alberto Montes has fought anybody elite either. So this is both kind of their... Both guys are fighting the best opponent they have so far. Now, I think on paper, Montes is probably better. But, like, I don't think this guy's, like, levels above Tommy McMillen in any way. Because in the strike, just in the sense that they both kind of just beat cans and bums. They both really haven't beat anybody good. Alberto Montes, I think, does have a nice kicking game on the outside. You know, fights very well on the outside with, like, question mark kicks, crazy variety of kicks. And he has a nice, straight punches to counter you. And Tom McMillen does leave himself open to those. And again, as mentioned before, Alberto Montes is a Darce and Anaconda merchant. And again, I'm just keep talking myself in and out of these. Like, Montes could catch McMillen shooting a bad takedown and gets in that Anaconda. But I lean Tommy McMillen just because I think he can break Montes with the pressure. I know his chin's crazy and he has a lot of power. On paper, again, Alberto Montes should win this one. But McMillen, in terms of all the physical attributes, the better cardio, the better chin, is bigger and hits harder, favors him. And even Ricky Torcios and Alberto Montes' debut in the UFC was overwhelming. Tommy McMillen, he has pillow hands. He can't hurt a fucking fly. I'm going to go Tommy McMillen round 3. And maybe I look like an idiot because I don't really want him to win because I'm not a really fan of Tommy McMillen. I think he's kind of a douchebag. And I kind of like Alberto Montes more. But the massive size, power, the physical advantages to Tommy McMillen, the fact that I know his chin's going to hold up unless Alberto Montes is actually Ilia Topuria. I'm taking Tommy McMillen in this one. I'll probably regret it, but I just think he's the better fighter. Let's go Jose Delgado versus Austin Bashi. I like Jose Delgado here. You know, a guy who I think his stock has fallen a little bit after the Philly fight where you see in Andre Philly kind of easily take down Jose Delgado, have moments of success on the feet. That worries you. But Andre Philly, did I call him Jose Philly? I don't even know. Andre Philly is a very crafty vet. That's what he is. And, Bashi lost to C-Rod, but he's very good. I know Austin Bashi's a very good grappler and wrestler. And Delgado, again, has struggled with guys who can take him down a lot. But I think Jose Miguel Delgado is just going to win this one by just doing more damage. Again, Andre Fili has real power and striking and is the definition of crafty vet. But I don't know. It's a weird one for me because obviously you kind of figured Jose Delgado would have won that fight more easily and it should have been as close as it was. I'm just talking myself out of this pick here. Because then you watch like Vinicius Oliveira run through Andre Fili. You're like, is Vinicius Oliveira just that good? Or is Jose Delgado shit? Or is it just matchups makes fights? I don't really know. But also Jose Delgado robbed against Nathaniel Wood. Just want to point that out. I think Delgado will win this one through his movement. He's so big, has a solid scrambling ability, nice kicking game, nice stance switching move, and nice front kicks. The blast double will be there for Austin Bashi, and he will get it at some point. But I just think Delgado's going to do more damage throughout this fight, mix up his kicks really well, can flash that knee up the middle if Bashi shoots in on a takedown and has those nasty counters with the knee. And you can catch him when he stands, switching stances. Again, Andre Fili did that pretty well. So I think Austin Bashi could. He's a better grappler. But I just think Delgado's going to get him, man. I just think Delgado's going to do more damage. And this one, close decision. Again, if Austin Bashi won, I wouldn't be surprised. Seok Ko versus JPL, John Paul Lebosnoyani. Another really, it kind of sucks that these guys have to face each other because they're two of the better quote-unquote prospects in the welterweight division, and I've tossed and turned about this one, but I think I'm gonna lean Seok Ko by decision. I could just, and for this guy to be called a Korean Tyson is ridiculous because his best part of his game is just smudging you. I lean him. I just can see them just smudging JPL, and everybody's pissed about it. And then Seok Ko, he gets like brutally knocked out by Neil Magny in a couple months. And then everybody's like, yeah, we love Neil Magny. Fuck you, Ko. And then JPL goes on this run after this. But I think Ko will win this one. Again, he's solid defensively on the feet where he fights with his hands down, but just weird movement and shit. I don't know, it's weird, hard to describe, but he'll push you back to the fence to get takedowns, has good grappling and scrambling, will control you, has nice ground and pound, will smudge you, man. I mean, flatten you out. That's kind of the name of his game. Again, keeps his hands down to draw you in and counter you with a nice left and right hook, which is pretty powerful. Also has nice judo throws in the clinch and on the ground. Again, really nice scrambling ability to get in position to just smudge you or get a submission. Now, JPL is very interesting because he's got that high guard. He's moving forward, has a nice jab, nice head kick also, and is technically a grappler, but his striking has massively improved throughout his career. And he does have that nice kind of flowy striking and stance switching where he can sneak in kicks in the middle of combos, which is a lot of fun. Question his durability a little bit because at lightweight he wasn't really super durable, and then I feel like you take a look at JPL and you just see that you could just see him getting brutally knocked out. But he does have really nice submission game when it gets to the ground, so that's the interesting thing. It's like if Ko's getting this fight to the ground, JPL with all his weird Brazilian jiu-jitsu abilities, how does that, like, do they cancel each other out? What's going to be the deal there? Because I think JPL is a little bit better on the feet, but I'd give Ko maybe a slight edge just in pure grappling, but then the BJJ advantage is for JPL. So it's really interesting there. I just worry, though, that when it gets to the ground, and even though JPL is a better finisher overall, has really solid jiu-jitsu, I just know Seok Ko, I don't even know if I'm ever saying this guy's name right, it's just going to smudge him just because he's just a better wrestler. I would say he's a better wrestler than JPL. I'm going Seok Ko by that fucked me up. I thought I was picking whatever. Fuck me. We're going Ko by decision. I hope JPL wins this one though. Moving on to Felipe Franco versus Levi Rodrigues Jr. A one that I don't really know what to think about because I'm not too high on either of these guys. I think I'm gonna go with Felipe Franco. Both these guys fought for Eddie Vidal. Shout out Longos. Shout out Long Island. I think who beat him? I don't even remember. Levi Rodrigues, I think, was taking steroids the last time he fought. And Franco, man, I'll say this. Survived against Mario Pinto. Now, Pinto's stock has dropped a little bit, even though he hasn't lost. Just because he's kind of low output and doesn't even look like he wants to be in there sometimes, but is good. Now, Rodrigues is dangerous, has less experience. He's more composed than... Felipe Franco is more composed than Levi, can grapple, has big power, also can get takedowns, get position on the ground, and has real game on the ground. Rodrigues, off the break and clinch sequences, is really dangerous and can finish you. Now, Franco does seem to slow down in some of these fights as open to getting chin, But Levi Rodrigues is just a little bit too wild and young for me to pick him. So can I actually, let me see who beat Freddie Vidal or finished Freddie Vidal. No, Felipe Franco got oh, that was the gross submission. And then Dana White was like, that fight was terrible. So I'm not going to do it. And then this fight, Levi Rodrigues popped for steroids after fuck it. We're not picking anybody who uses steroids. Let's see. We're going to go with, Felipe Franco, round 2 TKO. I don't really have that good of a read on this fight. Levi Rodrigues just used to take steroids, so fuck him. Now, Alden Coria versus Stewart Nicoll. This might be one of the only real locks of the card. Alden Coria is probably going to beat this dude's head off. 4-ounce Fight Club guy. Has looked really good in the UFC so far against Alessandro Costa. And who was the other guy he fought? Who was the other shitbag that he fought? Luis Kincaid Garul. Now, Luis Garul, actually, that's a decent win. But other shitbag. Alessandro Costa is good too. But Alden Coria just thinks going to beat Stewart Nicoll's head off. I feel bad for Stewart Nicoll because he does have like some decent skills and he doesn't really deserve this one. Alden Coria is just one of the best unranked flyweights in the world right now. So slick with the boxing, can grapple, has a ton of momentum. Nicoll's just going to get backed up and walk down, ripped apart with combos. And even if Stewart Nicoll can land takedowns, Coria scrambles well. We saw him do it against Alessandro Costa. Things could get interesting if Stewart Nicoll does get him down and is able to flatten him out. That's where Stewart Nicoll's very dangerous, but I think Alden Coria will win this one by like round 2 TKO or something. I just think Stewart Nicoll's not that good, and Alden Coria is very fucking good. One of the best unranked flyweights in the world. Moving on to Alvin Goonsy Hines, the Goonster, versus RJ Harris. Now, this is a fun one because the Goonster pops for PEDs. I think he was a criminal also, but I don't think I'm going to go with him here. I know a lot of the memes, people want to pick Goozy. He's just old and kind of walks forward. I think RJ Harris is going to win this one by decision. Now, Hines has a very good chin. It is very durable, survives Janata knees, and can mix it up well. But RJ Harris has a massive reach advantage, uses his jab well, is rangy, is giant too. He's like 6'8" or something. He's good in close, nice knees, will push you to the fence to use the front headlock. Should be a mainly striking fight, and I just think Hines will get out damage and probably just get behind on the numbers. Hope he wins though, just for the memes. So we'll go with RJ Harris. Dion Barbosa, is this the last fight? No. Versus Anna Medesano. I'm going to go with Dion Barbosa, just more dangerous. Melisano's kind of very Barbosa can kind of land in the inside, mixing the grappling. That's what I'll say about her. And then Damian Anderson versus Ezra Elliott. Now, this fight got added fairly recently. I haven't done really a ton of tape on these guys. Some dude on TikTok told me that Damian Anderson on the ground is top 10 BJJ guy in the UFC. I think I trust Ezra Elliott's. What are the Tapology people saying? I trust Ezra Elliott slightly more. Comes from a good gym, Red Hawk, I believe. Both aggressive grapplers with solid striking bases. Ezra's a better, bigger striker, and I just think he'll win. I just think he's gonna get him, man. As long as he isn't going there shooting a bunch of dumb takedowns, he should win this one. I think Damian Anderson probably has the jiu-jitsu advantage, but I'll go with Ezra Elliott because he's named after a character in Star Wars. And what are people picking him by in this? Submission? I'll just pick him by decision. I don't give a fuck. Go Ezra Elliott by decision. All right. Those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Again, DDP is going to kick Kamaru Usman's ass. It'll be beautiful. Then we're going to get the title shot and defeat Dricus Du Plessis for the 100th time. And then we're going to move up to 205, sleep Carlos Olberg, and then we're going to retire the GOAT. So there we go. DDP saved me. We just need some things going right. I do not want to live in a world where Kamaru Usman smudges you for a 49-46 unanimous decision. Again, if you're new here, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all love on TikTok. 200,000 on that 200,000 views on that video. Me making fun of Joe Rogan for calling Robert Whittaker fat. Fuck you, Joe Rogan. See you guys later.